top people who outlived insane prison sentences. Eddie Collins, 43 years. We are talking about a man who has been locked up for the past 43 years. Eddie was serving time for first-degree murder. Well, one day when Eddie and his brother was buying drugs, they got into an altercation, and that's when Eddie pulled out his gun, and that's the moment his life changed forever. Otis Johnson, 44 years. Otis went to prison at the age of 25 years old for attempted murder of a police officer. Otis has been locked away since the 70s, and now he has to re-enter into the modern society of complex technology. He was released at the age of 69-year-old. Most of your life has been lives, and he can no longer work, so how will he make a living? Well, I guess that was a decision he shouldn't decided 44 years ago. John Zazie, 50 years. Who is a 100-year-old mobster who has just been released from prison after serving 50 years behind bars. John was released on the 23rd of June this year. He was released from the Federal Medical Center in Devens, Massachusetts. John was an underboss of the Colombo crime organization. Harvey Stewart, 60 years. Harvey was released back in 2011 at the age of 83 years old. Harvey Stewart has a really long rap sheet, from a junkyard heights in Houston to murdering someone. During most of his prison stay, not many people visited him, and Stewart can't recall one person who visited him in the past decade or two. He has been isolated from the world and doesn't know what has been going on. Charles Ed Redford, 64 years. The sad part is that Charles was innocent. He has served one of the longest sentenced as an innocent person. He was actually just released just last year. Charles was convicted of murder. Well, here is a little backstory. This took place in the early 50s, and Charles is a black man who appeared in front of an all-white jury in a time where black people didn't really have any rights. Charles was just 20 years old at the time, and his life just flashed before him. After 64 years old, was finally released into a nursing center where he is now 86 years old. Howard Kistensen, 64 years. Howard was sentenced to life without parole for the murder of a teacher in 1937. He was 16 years old at the time that he murdered a teacher. About 30 years into the prison sentence, the sentence was changed from life without parole to 200 years in prison. But in 2001, after serving 64 years, he was released from prison, but just 2 years later he passed away.